All right, everybody, that's enough of that. Welcome back to Basscast Radio. I am your host, Brian Carter. Join with me, my hosts, Hank the Bass Geek and Thomas Aarons with Fishing the DMV. Hope you guys enjoy the new intro. We've been kind of looking for something a little bit more exciting, a little bit more preppier, and just get us in the mood of bass fishing. And for you guys don't know, we record on Wednesdays and we upload on Mondays. And this past week was the 2025 Bassmaster Classic. And, we're recording this early, like I said, on Wednesdays. So far, everybody's been pretty damn good, everybody. We've heard nothing out of anybody of anything except for, one boat that might have accidentally sunk. Mr. Trey McKinney's boat, Trey's boat. But other than that, everything else has been pretty quiet so far. Practice has gone pretty daggone well, and we're just all really excited for the next couple of days. I know the following week we're going to try to get a couple people on from the Bassmaster Classic itself. It's crazy. The season, guys, just rolls on. And, I know Thomas was talking about that earlier. We haven't really talked much about the events themselves because we have had some great guests on because we had Chad Green on talking about Smith Mountain Lake. And guys, you all tuned in and checked out that episode. That episode's on fire. It really is good. I want to thank Bass Geek for helping us out with the little picture diagrams for those because we are kicking butt for that. You guys are doing great on YouTube. Thank you for following all of us on YouTube. We really appreciate that. And then last week we had Charlie on who caught a 10 plus. So that's a second 10 plus bass on Smith Mountain Lake. If you guys are not following Chad Green on social media, Chad almost had 110 during practice last week.
Wow.
Yeah, before the English champion English choice event. I said, sorry, it was supposed to be a 2-day event, but ended up being 1 day because of the storms. So we had 1-day event, but the English choice only event on Smith Mountain Lake this year. So everything else can be down in North Carolina for them.
Well,
but a young man,
what I say? Every fish I've ever lost is a 10-pounder. Prove me wrong. That's all I'm saying.
That's a good life to live by right there.
That is. So a young man from North Carolina came up and took everybody's money over the weekend. For you guys who don't know, the English Choice Tournament Series event this year is a $10,000 guarantee to the winner. Now, I will tell you this. I asked second place what he got, and it dropped to about 4 real quick. So it drops, but that's 60-40, and then it just keeps on. Everybody else gets what's left. But, so they got a lot more events scheduled in North Carolina this year. So, but we brought up the whole thing about Geeks down in Tennessee, Geeks tournament trail that he used to fish. And that thing had almost 3.
Morristown Marine Team Trail. It always does real well. But they had, on South Holston, they had 227 boats, which, believe it or not, like I told you guys, that's actually down. They normally average about 3 or 235.
Wow. So,
and they 2 weeks before that, they fished Cherokee. Now, here, you want to, man, I'm about to out. Thomas, we talked about in your top 10 lakes.
Yeah.
We talked about. So now I know Cherokee is not, but Cherokee's the one that gets all the hoopla from the elites and everything. A whopping 14 pounds took to win that first tournament of the year, 2 weeks. It took 24 pounds to win on South Holston, however.
That's awesome. Smith Mountain Lake has been on fire, everyone. It was the weights were down a little bit this weekend. It was a little over 22 pounds. And I spoke to Chris Brummett, which has been on the Fishing the DMV show before. And he told me that, he had a limit, but he figured it's going to take 25 pounds to win. So he went out looking for a big one to get the 25 pounds, where all he really needed was a 2-pound upgrade. And he'd have won $10,000. But that's what you call fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And, we all do. We all keep up with the results, and that's why we have the basscast.com. Is, a lot of people like seeing the results and kind of knowing what the mark is and what the trend has been for the last couple of tournaments to see, what they need to get. But like I said, weights are down as well as Geek. Our numbers were down as well. The English Choice Team Turn Trail was 85 boats, and that's been usually a 175 to 150.
Why do you think that is?
North Carolina. A lot of, plus, there was another event on Smith Mountain Lake. It didn't have a lot of boats. There's a Fishermen in Virginia West. I posted that, like I said, on the basscast.com as well. But I think a lot of people, when they, so in 2025, English Choice has done away with the championship. They're all open events. They've done away with the team championship. So they're no longer a Bassmaster team championship. They don't send anybody for the team champion. A lot of people have asked me.
Well, they were just asking to fail. That's what you're telling me. I said it sounds like they're just asking to fail, right? That's what it sounds like to me. I mean,
I think they just had to make the. I know the entry fee went up this year. It's $220. I think it's two.
So now, wait a minute. They took away the chance to qualify for the Bassmaster team.
Yes.
What was the first one you said?
Move the end of the year championship, which
they get rid of the championship, and they raise the entry fee.
Yeah.
Do they just not want to do tournaments anymore?
Well, they also kick your dog too.
That has been brought up many, many times, great people here on Basscast Radio, and it's been brought up to me. And I think I'll be honest with you guys. I've said this a bazillion times. I've been doing English Choice since I first started. Bass Nation of Virginia, when I started, was over 200 boats. English Choice was at this point when I first started 15 years ago, about 75 to 85 boats fishing. They fish like Phil, Pot, and little lakes like that, which was really cool. And then they started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But the tournament directors are tired. I mean, I hate to say it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you figure Chris Lucas was a tournament director for like 18 years. I mean, if you can last 3 years as a tournament director and putting up with anglers, you are a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
You really are. You're a rock star. Danielle put this out there. Before she became the kayak tournament director, and she became a member of like a tournament directors group. And she asked them, like, what's the average a tournament director last? Guys, a tournament director average lasts 3 years.
Wow.
Either one, they just get burnt out. Two, they wanted to fish instead of being a tournament director, but they knew the whole thing was going to collapse unless someone took over. And we're in that right now. We're in that with Bass Nation. I brought that up. We had a big conversation at the last Bass Nation of Virginia event down on Lake Gaston. Guys, a lot of these people are retired. They don't want to invest a lot of money in electronics. They just want to go fishing. They're 65 years old. So, and English Choice was the same way. Randy Carter was running a lot of the tournaments here. He helped Chris Lucas for years run the tournaments as well. So he would help, and Chris and MC and all and husbands, wives, all that stuff would help out. And they do have a younger generation who has stepped in for English Choice, but he lives in North Carolina, and that's his home lakes down at Norman, Norman, and a lot of the lakes down that way. So it's moving to Carolina, and that's the reason why, because that's his home body, and nobody up here want to mess with it. Boom, there's the answer real quick. I mean, they're kind of – go ahead.
It's also just oversaturation. I mean, at some
point – it really is.
We got to start talking about that. We have, oversaturation, and then the next part is going to be consolidation. So what are we going to be seeing with this? And we see this at the very grassroots level. And part of it is because of the rise of catch photo release, to where now you have that going on, plus all these other little organizations. And I think this was a direct response to the national tours being completely just not worth it to do unless you have the money and the sponsors go do the Bass Opens and donate. You're not going to do that. So there was a need for these tournaments. But what we haven't seen yet, in my opinion, is regional level. Like for people that know the Elite 70s, what Steve Camp does, you don't have a lot of those sprouting up yet, which is interesting to me. You have these one-offs, which I think like the Angler's Choice, but not that next grade, which is interesting.
Well, Angler's Choice has been around for a long time. And, Angler's Choice did give away a bass boat for their championship. And they've been doing that for like a decade or longer. I mean, we all know bass boats have gone up, and they've decided to consolidate. What they did was just they stopped giving away a bass boat, took the $80,000, and just spread it out between 10 tournaments or 4 tournaments, 5, whatever it is. So because they're a big bass event, and they're doing the English Source regular season events. And like I said, this is there is a big bass event being held on Bugs Island, but this was it. The rest of them are, I got to go south. So, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I'm going to some new bodies of water I've never been to, and some I have been to. So it's gonna be an interesting year for them. And the basscast.com as well as Cat and has picked up a lot of their anglers. I picked up 5 boats from them that I'd never seen before fish with me, because they just said, we have a championship. We don't have a team championship yet. We're not sending anybody yet. But I mean, it's.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Is this a sneak peek? Is the Basscast Tournament Trail going to be the next big thing? Is that what we're getting at here, Brian?
Hey, I'll take all I can get. I'm not. Boom. I ain't gonna lie. If you guys want to fish with us, our next event's in April. We'd love to have you. I'm gonna plug this, and we're gonna move on with the show, guys. It's April, and you can head to the basscast.com right now and click on 2025 tournament schedule, and you need to prepay, and you all need to fill out your release form. It's simple and it's easy, and your one-time registration fee if you haven't done that. So it's all simple, it's all easy. Danielle created a brand new form, and it's amazing. And with the new form that we have, it has a little kiosk thing. It's pretty cool. We bring our tablets, so you can fill it out all on our tablet. We're all digital now because we're trying to make this thing smooth. And the bigger we get, they're small too. I mean, there's 4 of us to run this thing. 2 people weigh to fish, and me and Danielle. Danielle puts it all in the computer, and I take photos and do the interview. So if the NPFL can do it, so can we. Boom, there you go.
There you go.
All right, before I go around the room, let's talk about this real quick. The Moneysaver Lure Retriever. Tired of watching your expensive lures disappear into the deep, afraid to cast where the big ones hide? Introducing the Moneysaver Lure Retriever, the ultimate solution for rescuing snagged lures from the lake bottom. The powerful 2-inch, 3-ounce pocket-sized miracle is engineered for direct hit plug knocking efficiency. Cast with confidence into the trophy fish hideouts. Small investment, huge returns. Save hundreds on expensive gear while fishing where others fear to cast. No special skills needed, everybody. Just keep it in your pocket until you need it. Buy some for your friends. Buy some for a new angler, young kid. It's just fishing. Help save him some money, daggone it. The Moneysaver Lure Retriever, your portable lifeline in snag-filled waters. Available now at Moneysaver.store. There you guys go. Head on over and pick some up today. Like I said, they make great Christmas items, birthday gifts, really inexpensive stock of stuffers for, I know we're a long ways away from Christmas, guys, but got many different colors to choose from. Got Basscast green, orange, blue, red, yellow.
Put some in an Easter basket.
Yeah, put some in an Easter basket. Yeah. Do we still do that?
I don't know.
I think kids do, yes.
Okay, all right. So put some in an Easter basket today. But yeah, I mean, check out Moneysaver.store and pick some up today. Like I said, these things aren't getting any cheaper. I mean, hell, plastics have doubled since I started fishing. So I mean, if you guys want to really talk about the increase in crankbaits and all these Japanese baits and all the other baits that you can buy, what's a couple dollars when you're saving a $200 lure on the bottom of the water?
And they do actually work. I keep several of them on my boat. Before this one came out, there was a couple of local guys that made some that was kind of the same way, and I've used for years. Just pocket knockers. That's what they're called, pocket knockers.
Yep. So check them out, Moneysaver.store. Let's go around the room like we always do real quick before we dive into tonight's show. Bass Geek, what is happening in your world first, brother?
Well, some people from Poland hacked me. That happened. So
Oh, you found out where they're from?
took me all the way down. Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if that was the last stop on the VPN before it jumped into Russia.
Wow.
But
that's why they keep getting invaded. The damn Poles.
Yep. Yeah. But
Wow.
Poland was the last stop. They threw up some fake Elon Musk Bitcoin stuff. But you know what? I'm going to give YouTube a huge shout out within YouTube and Google. I mean, they had me back up and completely done within about 4 days. But over the weekend, literally within 24 to 30 hours, we had the email back up and we had the website back up or the YouTube channel back up.
Yeah.
So I mean, they did great. I mean, YouTube gets a lot of hate, but I have to give them some props on what they did for me, because that would have been a huge hit for what I want to do and where I want to be. So all that being said, all of you out there listening, go watch the videos, pretty please, right now, because we lost some momentum. The algorithm is weird to us right now. So go out there and do us a favor and just watch a couple of videos as they come out. Sunday, Tuesday,
share,
and
everybody.
Thursday. Yep.
That's pretty crazy right there. I mean, guys, I ain't gonna lie. We all got sick for Geek. I mean, I actually crapped in his pants. I mean, I saw the video and it made me sick. Wow. I mean, you figure, it really did. I mean, I lost my Facebook for like 3 months, and it took a while to get it back. So, I mean, you're talking about and I didn't have nowhere close to what you had at the time. We've gained a lot in the last, year.
It was scary. Thank God my son, he's a big gamer. So, he was talking about a couple of smaller gamer channels getting their stuff back in 4 and 5 days. So he gave me some hope. I mean, I figured, to be honest, when it first happened, I didn't know. I had zero to no hope. I mean,
right.
I thought, wow, this is done.
That's so crazy. Thomas, what's happening with you, brother?
I didn't get my channel hacked, so I don't have that to deal with. Dude, just doing the grind, man. Pumping out content. Probably gonna have to dial it back once fishing starts for me in April. I don't know how I can interview 4 episodes ahead of time plus fish. So I'm gonna dial back to 3 in fishing seasons. Probably what I'm gonna do. Awesome. But just some really cool episodes. Odenkirk came out for the DWR. That was really cool, doing the surveys of the snakehead and stuff. Interesting how they collect their data. I think that's gotten over 5,000 downloads right now, which is pretty insane. We last week we broke into the top 120 fishing podcasts nationally. Almost beat out Mike Iaconelli. So close. So just thanks everyone that listens to make this reality. I don't. He gets a way on brand recognition. I think at this point, honestly, it's just crazy, man. He's he has brand new sponsors and everything. No longer Torpedo, no longer the other kayak. I mean, does he even fish out of a kayak? That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, we'll continue on. But I'm doing great. Back to you, Brian.
To be honest, he does. He actually signed with Wilderness this year.
Yep.
Hobie quit. When Hobie got rid of everybody, that press release blew up a lot on the Basscast.com. But yeah, he went to Wilderness, so he's actually fishing out of Wilderness this year. No Torpedo, like you said. And I think he is, because his show now went to like 12 people down to like him. And if he could give more hats away, I think his life would be better.
I don't understand why he did that, unless he thought the new format would be better for his brand or whatever. But he was one of the OGs that got on it, so it's kind of interesting that he broke the band up, so to speak, for that. But who knows?
Because you guys know, at one time, I haven't watched the show in quite a while. I'm not gonna lie, I've watched it off and on. I know he'd been doing some TV show stuff, but one time is him, his wife, the guy who runs
Brian the Carpenter.
Brian the Carpenter, and then it was a couple other guys in the room, doing the behind the scenes stuff. And I think it's down now to 2 people. So I don't know. We still have he is one of the original OGs and kind of something we all kind of looked up to and look forward to. And, hopefully one day we'll all have them followers and numbers and all that great stuff. And
it is weird because he was one of the loudest voices for something different from Bass when all that stuff went down, and he was one of the first to jump. And it's just so interesting to be like full circle to where he's just a lot quieter now about all that stuff than he was before.
guys, we can have a show on that right there. I'm not lying, because we had him on a show, and he was so, when Major League Fishing come out, and he was like all the airtime, and I understand they had a script they probably had to go by, but he was so die hard on Major League Fishing when it come out, the original Major League Fishing, by the way, everyone. And he's so die hard on it. People will be watching for hours. The sponsors will love him. And it's kind of crazy how it's all come back full circle where sponsors really didn't like it. I mean, there was no brand recognition. You kind of lost who, what. I mean, unless they were in the top 5, you really didn't know.
Well, and I think that was the biggest. They will never mention this. They will never will. Because it's we had a great conversation about marriage and manhood before this show. That's a new show that we're going to be doing. But when it came to all these guys that promoted it, and they got their asses kicked and they sucked. They sucked at the format. And if you ask, I think 85% of them with True Swimmer, it's like, why did you quit? And it's because I sucked and I hated being that little bitch that kept getting his butt whooped. Because nobody was over there winning $200,000 to $300,000. Be like, I'm done with this format. I'm going to go move over here. No. Gerald Swindle, he was terrible. Brandon Polinick, at least Brandon's like, I just am bad at the format. He admitted it, and he went over there. That they won't mention that, and it's like the forward-facing sonar argument to me. It's like the guys that aren't good at it complain about these crazy kids. How much of it's the same way? It's like, okay, yeah, MLF's got problems, but it's always a certain sect, and they're always in the bottom rung that complain about it.
You kind of,
that would be a good show. What we need to do is go back to last year and compare, were these anglers, all of a sudden these star-studded anglers who came, because I know I've kind of already looked at it. Me and my buddy Ben were going through the NPFL and seeing where some of these guys are. Now, we know who won the Santee Cooper event. And we know that he's won with a forward-facing sonar before and without. We know maybe what he likes to do predominantly. But I think before anybody gets super excited and points to Santee Cooper as being, look how good a non-forward-facing sonar tournament can be, it's Santee Cooper. Like it's as deep as Okeechobee with stumps. But most of the guys that I seen, they were, Gerald Swindell, he was right there in the middle of the pack. Love Matt Herron. Don't want to talk bad about him, but he's pulling up the rear right where he's been the past few years.
Exactly. And it's the same thing at Okeechobee when Brandon Polinick won, and people are like, oh, best of all time. It's like, you have to asterisk it. You do. Best 5 fish, best with sonar, best in any format, because again, hands down to me, best angler of all time now, Jacob Wheeler, because the format doesn't matter. He kicks your ass in every format, with or without, he wins. When you have guys like Brandon Pollock that left MLF because he was bad at the format, okay, he could win a bunch of classics, but I still think he's a ring below the guys that can dominate in any format.
Yeah. And that's very true. I mean, we're seeing, I think as the Major League Fishing tournaments trail, the season goes along, we're going to see a lot of different winners because, of them changing their format. And you're 100% right, Guy, about that. A lot of guys came back that you're kind of wondering if this right here, I know that they said Major League Fishing said at the beginning of the year that they cut their field back. And you kind of wonder if that field was really just cut back. It was cut back for TV and, for more, they said. You wonder if they were just kind of cleaning house. These are the guys that suck at this format. Let's get rid of them. And let's keep the guys who are good at this format, who's going to make great TV.
Yes. And I really wish Boyd Duckett would just go full Vince McMahon and come on and be like, hey, listen, all of them suck. We're getting rid of them. We just want superstars. And fair enough. I mean,
it's true, though.
I agree. I mean, you got to think about it. Like, I've always heard there's a very select few football players that do well with brand deals. And a lot of the reason is that their numbers are more recognizable. Them in uniform is more recognizable than their faces because they wear helmets. And where baseball, basketball, those players, who don't have headgear are a lot more recognizable, and you see them in a lot more commercials, brand deals. And if you think about it, if you cut that field down from 150, 100, down, you're really able to sell because it's hard to win in bass fishing. It's hard to win. And the more you have, the more people you have, because let's face it, everybody wants a Kevin Van Dam. Everybody wants a Jacob Wheeler. You need that one or two. You need that LeBron James. You need that New England Patriots. You need that team to whether you're hating them or you're loving them. And it's hard to consistently win. And the bigger field you have, the harder it is to consistently win.
Yeah.
And, I know for a long time, on bass for 2-3 years before the split, the guys who would regularly win or there really wasn't anybody. It's like, well, who's that guy? Nobody ever heard of him. Oh, he got his first win. And I think scaling it back allows them to create a lot more personal brands to be able to sell, especially the guys that are always in that top 10, and like DC, like Jacob Wheeler,
we can talk
like
about
the Canada boys or whoever it is there.
Well, it's like baseball. I mean, baseball is the same way. Me and Thomas are big baseball fans, and you need them one or two players, sell T-shirts, sell hats, sell all the gear, and then you got the other rest of the players. How many there are? I can't remember offhand, but you know what I'm saying. Every brand has to have, every team or whatever has to have their superstars to be able to make it. And Wheeler's it. I mean, I hate to say it, the dude can catch fish no matter where
Wheeler.
you put him, and no matter forward facing or non-forward facing sonar.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And I said this on my call-in show a couple weeks ago. I thought Sandy Cooper was everything that NPFL wanted it to be. But I was expecting that, because if it wasn't that way, they were in a world of hurt for their premiere.
Yeah.
So great. Now you have to do that for the rest of the season. And then their big test is year 2, because I kind of assumed that they would have a good pop the first year because it's different.
Right.
So how does this continue? Great. Again, their scheduling, chef's kiss, great place to start the year.
Yeah.
Good weights and everything. I know a ton of people hated what was going on in Okeechobee behind the scenes with the lake dying and stuff and it not being great fishing, but great start to the year for them. Hopefully they keep up the momentum.
2 dirty 30 bags, something, that a lot of records were broke for the NPFL. Now, guys, he is talking about, this, not for you guys to say, this is not the first year of the NPFL. This is just the first year of the non-forward facing sonar, by the way.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like he's saying, wait to see what happens the second year and see if they got a pretty good field, but how many a full field for 2025, and will we see more anglers who are kind of fed up with bass and Major League Fishing come over to the NPFL? But yeah, NPFL kicked it into high gear and they did a great job. I think they had their air a lot on YouTube for their weigh-in. Did they still do Wix? I don't think they did anything with them, did they?
No, they're doing their own thing. They actually had some issues. He released a statement today, Brad did.
Oh, he did?
Saying we got to do better. So there was a few issues with it. They tested, but nothing's like the live, real ball game. So they had a few issues, but, I'm sure they'll get that worked out. But, and then the seniors league will be rocking and rolling.
And then a happy mention was, Hank, this is more in your country. I'm really happily impressed with Kentucky Lake. Like, I don't know why, but with everything going on, I just kept watching maybe it's because at heart, I'm a smallmouth just advocate, but
Yeah.
I never in my life watching Kevin Van Dam cranking the ledges to that place being dead, it would come back like a smallmouth, like heaven.
Never did I think it'd come back as a smallmouth fishery. But I mean, I understand why, because they can compete, with the Asian carp.
Yeah.
So it's and in the largemouth, and I really hate to see, because that lake was a ledge fishing legend. It was incredible, but ain't nothing like catching some big old smallmouth.
No, that's a happy place, man. I would take a 6 pound. Let us know in the comment section when this thing airs on YouTube. Would you rather catch a big smallmouth or a green one? To me, it's a brown one all day.
All day. The only time
They
I hate
so
chasing
much.
smallmouth in the summer.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, they're so. Ooh.
Come up to where I'm at. I'll get you in a kayak because there's something on a evening float on a river with a popper, dude. It's crack, baby.
Yeah.
Oof.
That would be freaking awesome right there.
Dude, yeah, it's happy time. No wife, no cell phone. Just float the river, smoke them on a popper.
There you go.
So yeah, NPFL guys, like I said, started off great. Still a long season left for them. The cool thing which we've always talked about for the NPFL, we love it because they go deep into the season. I mean, they finished I think their championships in November. It's gonna be down in South Carolina. But their championships then also they're going to be down in North Carolina as well, for all you guys that are listening. And Bassmaster is going to be in Carolina again for the first time this year. We've talked about this a lot here, not a little bit, but the last couple of weeks. This is the year for you guys who love professional bass fishing. You're crazy. I mean, it's within a few hours drive, you can see the big boys. You get to meet everybody. I mean, we got 30 anglers going to be on Smith Mountain Lake for the Major League Fishing event. Their all-star event. That's what I kind of call it. They're going to be up there for that. And then, like I said, go down to Norman. I mean, their NPFL is going to be there. And also, I'm trying to think, that lake I went to is a river I went to, and they're going to be on a different part of it. The elites are, but they're going to be.
I can never remember the name. They were there last year.
Yeah,
Mississippi?
No,
Sabine.
No,
Major League Fishing
one in South. Is it South Carolina or North Carolina?
Albemarle Sound.
Yes,
Albemarle Sound. Yes. So Bassmaster is going to be there this year, and guys, that's a cool place. It's a really cool freaking town. I had a great time down there, and it really was a cool town. And where they did the weigh-in was pretty freaking cool. Right in the little center of this little town, it kind of looked like Mayberry. But guys, if you want to see some elites, fill up the car and go. You're not very far away. And this is going to be your year to do it. You guys want to talk about they don't come close to me. Well, I think I consider 5 hours or less pretty damn close to us.
I mean, if you fish tournaments, 5 hours or less, that's pretty much your regional range, I think.
Yeah. So lots of great fishing coming up. But this week, guys, Bassmaster Classic 2025 down in Texas. Big Fish Factory. Dreams are going to come true. I did see a lot of the weights, and I think the weights are down by what a lot of the anglers picked. I was seeing like 70 pounds. I was, for some reason, I had like 100-pound mark in that thing, but it's only 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's not the normal 4-day tournament, guys. So it's only Friday, Saturday, and, top 10 on Sunday. But I don't know why I consider it being a whole lot higher than that.
I heard a lot of people saying that they expect at least one person to break the century belt. So,
it's bad timing. I mean, that's what it is. It's a good.
I don't think they will. Not in 3 days.
It's a good leg. Bad timing. Bad weather. All those stuff just playing against it. Which honestly, I'm fine with. I really miss the Forest Wood Cup. I miss those grinding championships that like the Forest Wood Cup always gave us in July. And so maybe having a tournament like this that they actually have to work a little bit, and it's not just going down to Mexico and catching Bass Pro Shop Aquarium lunkers. That'd be fun. Yeah.
So I brought up this video earlier, and we thought we'd discuss it. And Mr. Randy Blaukat, everybody, and get his 2 cents on the Bassmaster Classic. We're gonna play it for you right now, just a little bit of it, because the video is about 11 minutes long. If you guys want to follow intuitive angling, go right ahead. But here we go.
Freaking messed up. So here's the reason that I really won't be tuning in and wanted to get into this. What as far as what I just was talking about, is that it's not the same. It's like the allure and the energy and everything about the Bassmaster Classic has completely changed. Number one is, like I said, is when anglers have qualified for the Bassmaster Classic through the use of forward-facing sonar, I'm not saying I don't respect the anglers for their ability to catch
That's exactly
fish,
what you're saying, Randy.
but I don't equate that into somebody that has earned a qualification in the Bassmaster Classic by using artificial technology to get to that particular stage. That's just me as an angler out there.
All right,
cool. We're going to pause this and break this down. All right, Randy. So I love how he does this woman girlfriend argument. He's like, I'm not saying you're a bum, but wait for the mic to drop. This is what I'm going to be saying here with your argument. This guy has the most meme of old man yells at clouds ever in history.
Get off my lawn!
I love, if you look at the trophies he has, it looks like he robbed a thrift store or an antique shop, because that's when the last time he was relevant.
Yeah, those trophies are like from 1980, everybody.
No, one of those looks like it was in a prop and mash.
Look.
Just saying.
I just wished NPFL come to South Holston. Mm-hmm. Just come to South Holston without your little forward-facing sonar. Come on out here. 24-pound bag got weighed in. It puts in 24. Don't come in April when it's shooting fish in a barrel.
Right.
Come in June.
But
come show me what you can do. And look, I get it. I understand the argument to a certain extent, but I think
no. You can't understand the argument. Okay, he's a senile old man.
Limiting. No, it's very limiting to just think now that forward-facing sonar just means that you're catching them in open water, which was Randy's big rant. Well, they're out there resting. Well, they're not using it just to catch them in open water.
Okay. If this was Rick Clunn saying this, or a Jacob Wheeler, or a Kevin Van, somebody like that actually has respect and dignity, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Why isn't this guy in the NPFL or something like that, or doing all this other stuff? He's not.
I agree. I mean, he put out a video a while back. He said, I'm not fishing this year. I kind of lost the dream and the will and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like the NPFL opened their doors. You could have signed up and fished the NPFL in 2025.
And I promise you, they would have taken him just for the eyes that he has.
What he reminds me of is those e-thought girls and those Twitch girls that they're broken. They are like the celebrities that just can't get off social media. They need it. And this is his therapy. We are watching this guy go down the drain. And you've seen this with other kind of big famous like Twitch streamers and stuff. They're like, oh my God, I'm watching this person burn out in real time. He doesn't fish anymore. He just bitches because this is all he's got left.
All right, let's finish the video.
It's sad.
Let's finish the part.
I can't form an appreciation for that. And I think that's one of the reasons why there are so many anglers out there that I don't know, is because most of the anglers that I know in the sport are highly skilled anglers that has taken it's taken them decades to get where they were. Like guys like John Cox in the Classic, Greg Hackney,
Pause again
like that.
Let's just totally discounts the way the feeder system's changed.
Yes,
he totally discounts any sort of change in the way these people are now brought in. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that you work till you're 30 and then you got enough money and now you can go pay entry fees. It don't work that way.
But he also said the most insane. This guy dead ass says the craziest things. I don't know most of the anglers coming up because I only know the good anglers. So what the hell? He literally just said that. So like Coxes and stuff, all these other anglers, I mean, they're not good. They're plebs compared to us.
Yeah.
So I don't know them. It's like, you are so pretentious, dude, and you suck. You have not been relevant in like 2 decades.
No. You know what? The only thing Randy Blaukat is known for is sinking his boat to get under a bridge to win one tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
that was
your
before
claim to
TVs were in
fame,
color.
bro.
That is true.
Claim the fame.
All
If
right,
it wasn't for Fish
Keep
the
going.
Moment, you wouldn't have a career right now.
Yep.
all right, here we go.
Jacob Prosnick, some of those people that have really been around a long time and have mastered the art form of bass fishing, but there's a lot of anglers in there. And again, I'm not
What's your
slighting
definition of
those
bass fishing?
anglers. They operated within the context and the framework that Bassmaster set. But there's a lot of anglers out there. The reason I don't know who they are or have never heard of them before is it's part of the overall trend that we've seen, not just in Bassmaster, but in every single organization that allows forward-facing sonar, about anglers that simply do not have the dirt time and the time on the water and the skills to be able to achieve that level of success of getting into that particular event through artificial technology.
Guys, you might see them on forward-facing sonar, but you still have to catch them.
Here's what I'd like to see.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd like to get Trey McKinney.
Come up with
I'd like to get Trey McKinney and him. And we're not even talking about, we want to talk about skills. Okay, we just do a skills test. Because I'll bet you money Trey McKinney could skip flip a damn jig farther underneath a dock than he ever could.
Well, and something too is the subtext that he's done is like, they don't have the mileage, they don't have this. Like, you hate kids. That's what it is. This is the core of this is it's the old guard not willing to let go. That they just can't show up, flip the little biffle bug next to that stump and catch them like they did for the last 150 years. And then they complain like, well, the lake just sucks. It's like, no, dude, like, guess what? Fluorocarbon has been invented. We have brand new technology here, and you have to evolve. You see this in every sport. Remember when they're like, hey, listen, you don't want one of them running quarterbacks. You need one of them guys to stand there like a statue. That's how it's going to be.
Well, me and Brian are big NASCAR fans. And, when I watch NASCAR now, it looks, these kids that are driving now look younger than my son,
Yep.
I mean, and it's like, who do you root for? These aren't men. These are 14-year-old kids driving these cars.
But I'm glad you brought that up. It's also because of how, and this is a whole other issue I could get into a tirade because I did this for so long, 16 years, is this idea that youth have to pick their course in life at 3 years old. Yeah. If you live in Northern Virginia and in the baseball community I was in, at 6, you needed to know what position that you would play for the rest of your life, and you got onto a travel feeder team that would take you from Little League to middle school to high school to your college. So at that age, you need to be like, you're a pitcher. That's all you're doing indefinitely. And for all the problems with that, because I think it's absolutely wrong, it will create the people that physically survive it, a very good athlete, very young. It happens in NASCAR. And guess what we're seeing with youth bass fishing, high school, college? You're creating this tip of the spear. We complain about the forward-facing sonar, but we don't complain about, or we don't shine a light on this massive feeder system that I was back in 2015, 16, it was the Wild West with it. Now it is refined, it is polished, and it's turning out the McKinneys, the Jordan Lees like crazy.
Yep. A lot of great anglers are coming out of it now. And you guys know last year we talked about the, the Bassmaster Open series producing some of the best young anglers we've seen in a long freaking time. And the guys are studs. They really are. And they're catching big fish. I mean, I know, they've been kind of quiet the first of the year, but we've got a lot of Bassmaster Elite events. But let's go ahead and roll with the rest of this here real quick.
And again, that is just the framework of the organization. But nevertheless,
tired of settling for therapists that don't click.
I am.
Hey, and that segues into Hank's new business.
Until I found Rue.
By the
Rue
way,
changed the game for me. Their diverse range.
I seen an interview talking outside a therapy convention, and the guy asked him 2 questions: "How long have you been practicing, and how many patients have you cured?" Guess how many said 1?
1.
1 out of 10. All the rest of them said none.
Because someone was talking about this at work the other day, and they're like, "Do you ever go to a doctor and say, doctor said he got his certificate. Now he passed to get his certificate. Did you pass with a C? Did you pass with a B? Or did you pass with an A?" Nobody asked that. So, all right, here we go. We had to get through the commercial, everybody.
Pans out for me is I just don't have that interest. It's like I don't have there's not that feeling of following somebody that you followed all year long, and you got to know just by following. It just doesn't exist anymore like it used to. Back when the Bassmaster Classic was at the top of its period, from about 1975 to about early 2000, something like that, I could literally go down any Bassmaster Classic list, and most of them, like I said, we had 35 to 40 some people in the tournament. But you could show me a list of Bassmaster Classic qualifiers. I knew every single one of them. It's like you didn't even have to show me their name. I knew who they were by looking at their face. I knew the strengths that they have.
This could be all timers, bud. You might want to get checked.
Angler and say, "Oh, he's a Carolina rigger. He's a flipper. He throws a crankbait. He likes a deep crank. He's a good topwater fisherman."
He's a draft dodger.
I knew the strengths and the talents.
Okay, pause. I want to say something about this.
All right, go ahead.
This is the difference between 1975 and 2000. Hell, 1975 and 2000 and probably 10.
Yeah.
Is that you can't be a one-hit wonder and win. You cannot be a guy that does one thing real well and be consistent enough to compete. And that's been, to me, a huge problem with all of the leagues, especially Bassmaster, is that you could get in there and still do that one thing and ride and cash a check or finish in the top 75 and still be in the top 75 for the next 5 years because until you're 80.
You brought that up about racing and all like that, and we're starting to see the turnover in racing now. It's crazy. I'm that old, but it's going to be where this thing where the sport has, I like what you said, the sport has gotten so expensive. Racing's been gotten so expensive. Why do they want to keep a 60-year-old guy in there, even though he might be kind of famous when we need to put a 20-year-old in there that's going to start winning races, because we're dropping $500,000 a race. And when a bass boat's $190,000, and we're diversifying.
But he just gave something major away, and I want everyone to let this sink in. He said back in the 1970 or 1970 is what he said, not 1975, 1970. So, by my little mathematical situation here, that's 55 years. So let's go 1975, let's just say, and let's just go back 50 years from that. That's the 1920s. Which means if you were born in 1920, you saw the first airplane take flight, and when you died, you saw a space shuttle on the moon. So what I'm trying to exemplify here is a lot changes, Randy. It's called time. And so what happened in 1970, 50 years later, why are you shocked that things are different and the world is different here? And especially in the technology age from like the 1990s, look at how fast everything went parabolic. I am the last generation that I did not have a private laptop in high school. And you had to get written permission my first year of college to have one of these fancy laptops.
Yeah.
And now look at where we're at. Exactly.
Books.
So it's just, it really reminds me of all the data they've collected on which generation accepts technology the most. And spoiler alert, the farther you go back, the more they're against it, versus the Gen Zs and Alphas now, dude, they take to it like a sponge. They're fine with new. They're just used to it. And that's what this reeks of.
All right, let's finish this bullet part up, and then we'll knock this bad boy out.
Ooh, this is fun. This is therapy.
That made me interested in the event, and it's like the entire event became a lot more interesting because I knew everybody within that event. And also, guys, I just tell you right off the bat, ever since Ray Scott left the Classic, man, I just haven't had that much interest in following it. Ray Scott created a vibe to the Bassmaster Classic that simply can't be duplicated by anybody. Now, I mean, I'm not saying there's people that haven't done good jobs. Dave Mercer, Fish Burn, they are all great MCs. I'm not taking anything away from them, but there's a context of when you talk about Bassmaster, you see Ray Scott in that cowboy hat and, his, Western, get up vest he used to wear at the Classic. And it was just completely different. And it's just like, ever since we've had all this, more anglers, and there's more and more anglers every year that get into the event that, people just don't know who they are. It just loses some of its appeal with it. And
so if you don't know who they are,
there.
if you don't know who they are, it loses their appeal. How is that an argument there?
And I'll be honest, the Ray Scott thing kind of sounds like when Dale Earnhardt passed away and he wrecked, I stopped watching.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what comes to my mind right there. Is when all these people left racing because they were such big Dale Earnhardt fans that they forgot about the other 50 guys on the racetrack.
Yep, which is it's just fine. Listen, when you get older, you get set in your ways, and that's just.
You guys want to know he's not that old. That's the thing. He just acts old, but it's like what the
which
hell?
Is tomato.
How old is he?
I don't know. He's got young kids. He's got like teenagers, so he's got to be like he might be. If he's 50, I'd be surprised. I don't know. Someone have to look that up.
He's got to be 60-ish, 60.
No. And you know what's crazy, which debunks his whole argument.
He probably is, but I mean, still.
He's a boomer. There's no way he's a Gen Xer. He's a boomer 100.
And what derails his argument even more is when you have like a Rick Clunn learning and accepting of it. And it's like he understands change happens. And there's that which Brownie points again to everything that he never stops learning.
Yeah,
which is what you have.
An innovator, big time.
Which is what you have to be successful. You never stop learning. You keep pushing, and you have that mindset, that killer mindset. And it's just, I don't see that with Randy.
No.
All right. So, like I said, guys, we're not bashing Randy at all. His opinions are cool.
I am.
Okay. I don't want to.
I'll second it.
I won't put a disclaimer.
If Randy was here, I would bash him, literally.
Like I said, his opinions, our opinions are our opinions, and I don't want us to be like the hater group here or nothing. But I mean, we just thought we'd kind of bring it up. I saw it and was like, "What the hell is wrong with this guy?" I mean, yes, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not a huge Dave Mercer fan. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you at all. That's just me. But some people like Dave Mercer, so I mean,
I like him better than Fishburne.
Yeah.
I would trade both of them to get Zona back.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's 100%. Because Zona's the man. To be honest, I think at the end of the day, when all of us turn old, Zona be the last person. I mean, older. When we get to that retirement age and we think and look back on bass fishing for our little block of our life, it's going to be one name, and it's going to be Zona. I hate to say it, it really is. It's going to be Zona. I mean,
yeah, just him and Tommy Sanders, like it's just the chemistry of them both was so genie in the bottle kind of situation there. And that was the thing when I was listening to it at Okeechobee, and it's just like I felt hollow. It's such a weird feeling, but
yes,
I
didn't like that guy that was up there. Sorry. I mean, I didn't really. Is like, can he please get off the stage? I mean,
have any of you guys listened to the Redskins before on the radio?
Yes, I have.
Okay, Brian, you'll know this. Remember when Sonny used to call the games?
Mm-hmm.
It was weird when he retired. It just, things for a while felt off. It's the same vibe. Yeah.
It's kind of like if you go back, really, it's almost like if you go back to when Bassmaster was bought. And it kind of, we had to really get reused to all these brand new people and players and announcers and, everything kind of changed, but it's, new ownership, etc. But guys, the 2025 Bassmaster Classic's here. First of all, congratulations to whoever won. It started this past Friday. And like I said, we don't upload these till Monday, but I want to be watching as much as I possibly can while I'm at work because we love the Classic and I wish I was there. I'm going to be at Red Crest 2025. Me and Danielle will be there this year. I'm not bashing Bass, but Red Crest takes care of us. My hotel's paid for. Geek's been. You know, my room's paid for. My food's paid for. I just got to get to Birmingham, Alabama, which, okay. But they take care of us. Me and Danielle leave with an amazing goodie bag they give us. It's not just a little pin that said I attended the Bassmaster Classic. I've gotten 3 brand new Yeti cups. I've got a heated vest that Danielle wears. It's a crap load of stuff they give us. They are so grateful we're there, and we really appreciate it. And I'm not fighting 150 media people. It's 20 of us usually. And we all get to hang out, and it's great because the real OGs of the media, not just the people there to cover one angler from one country, you know, are there, and they're all stumbling upon each other. But you know, we'll be at the Classic next year. You know, Geek will probably be there as well, hanging out with us, and I hope Thomas will be there. We hope the whole group is there because that'd be great. Because then we can all go live from the Bassmaster Classic,
Yep.
Tennessee. So Thomas, you better start putting some coins away right now because we will all be in Knox Vegas in 2026
Yep.
for that Classic.
Hopefully.
So Thomas, you better tell Mama now. Put it down in May.
Town.
Right
Mhm.
now, we gonna be there broadcasting, and we might even do it live if we can get enough bandwidth. But we're gonna be broadcasting there from the Classic, so it'd be pretty freaking cool. We'll get one of them round tables in the back, all set up. Everybody bring a microphone, plug it all into one jack, and we'll get this thing going. So hopefully you all have enjoyed the class, guys. If you like this format, we really didn't have a guest tonight. I thought it'd be really cool to discuss, like I said earlier, the video. And we really love doing these shows and just talking about what's happening right now in the world of bass fishing. So please hit the like, please hit the follow button. Thank you and welcome all of you guys. Geek has been helping us out tremendously, me and Thomas, because we're all learning this whole entire thing. So we owe a lot to Geek.
They hate my guts now because I'm a thumbnail Nazi, but
yeah, Geeks pushed us, and that's what we really needed. And like I said, we appreciate all you guys who are following us now on YouTube. I know my followers have gone up tremendously since we updated the new thumbnail. So thank you guys to that. And welcome to Basscast Radio. Always fishing the DMV. Make sure you guys check out Thomas's channel. I'm glad Thomas is going back to 3 shows. I thought he was doing way too much, and that's been my opinion the whole entire time. You can overload yourself, and we all sometimes, in the name of YouTube and social media, we try to do that. So
yeah, one day this will be a full-time job, and I can crank out an ungodly amount. But that's
even
the
with
balance.
that, I don't think you need to crank out an ungodly amount. I think you need to leave enough teaser behind where they show up.
It is possible that if you start cranking out, it's a whole nother profession, and you might make more money.
Yeah, one day. Got to balance the wife and then the day job.
That's true.
We'll get there.
There you guys go. So appreciate you guys all checking out tonight. Anybody got any parting words before we roll out?
Have a taco.
All right, then. Again, guys, don't forget the basscast.com has this next event in April. The schedule's all on the website. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go look it up because I'm week by week. I'm just told where I need to be, and that's where I go. Just check out the Basscast tournament schedule there. You only have to fish 3 to qualify for our championship in December. So we allow you, we're not, we know a lot of other events are going on, but hey, if you fish the entire season with us, you have a chance of winning our points championship, and our overall points champion gets into our classic for free. So that just encourages you to fish the whole entire year with the basscast.com. Just something we've been doing for good God, I think the whole entire existence of our tournament trail. So if you're new to it, there it is. And everything you need to know is on the website. So check it all out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Be safe out there. The weather's supposed to drop a little bit. We're supposed to get out of these 70s again and 80s, go back to normal. This is March. Yeah, March weather. Because I've been wearing shorts today, which is pretty daggone nice. But we're going to be back in pants this weekend for the tournament events that happen this weekend. And I don't know, we're right around the corner. So thank you guys for listening. Have a great week, everyone. And we'll be talking to you all really, really soon.